Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I am joined by my fellow co-host, Oscar. I was going to name drop his last name there.
Bro,
Oscar.
Don't say my government on here.
Sorry, dog. Yeah, we don't want to get you. Why is it so loud? It feels like I'm talking into like a microphone out in front of 100,000 people. It's a bit weird. But anyway.
Maybe because you don't have your hood on for once.
Yeah, that's probably it, to be fair. I just got a haircut. My hair is in my
You
eye.
just got a haircut?
Yeah.
Is it shorter?
Yeah. Can you not...
Do you ask them to snip like a centimetre?
No, I mean, my hair usually was really long. Now it's like, see, it's not even above my eyebrows now. So it's nice. I like this length of hair. I think it suits me. Because I got a big head. So you don't want like his length of hair. Because look at that. I mean,
you wanna,
that's atrocious.
You wanna, but this is like more business savvy.
Is it?
Yeah. You want to.
I think it's just out of convenience because you didn't want a mullet.
You want it short and sharp.
Yeah, but that's not short and sharp though. It's just you've got a bunch of pubic hairs.
Yeah,
because
I haven't had a shower today, so it gets puffy.
The shower
gets puffy when I don't shower.
Anyway, let's not talk about our haircut. What we have got for everybody listening is a very in-depth and detailed discussion surrounding many things involving the world of sports. The NBA season just kicked off, so that's obviously exciting. Premier League's in a bit of a rampant mode at the moment because of how close it is to the World Cup, and there's about 2 games a week, especially for the Premier League team, so that's very exciting. And yeah, it's a very sort of interesting world of sport. Everything's going on. It feels like every single sport's playing, and this is the golden period, I think, for my world of sports anyway.
Is it? The golden period?
Yeah, because NFL's on, EPL's on, Premier League... Oh, sorry. Yeah. And then NBA's on, F1's on, Rugby League World Cup. I mean, there's just so many things to do. I mean, Cricket World Cup, does anyone care about that? Not really, but it is what it is.
It's on.
Yeah, it is on.
I'll watch Australia.
It's not even on YouTube, though. There's no highlights on YouTube. So that's kind of...
It's on Foxtel.
Yeah, but it's kind of a bummer. I don't really want to watch the whole game, do I? But yeah, moving on. What would you like to start off with, good sir?
I don't know. Yeah, we'll start. We can start with rugby. The World Cup, obviously, going on right now, the most prestigious tournament in all of sports.
Is it?
Very competitive, one must say.
Especially with like the lower teams and the top teams. There's just like no difference, is there? You can't even tell the difference.
Yeah, well, I mean, once you get in the World Cup, it's the best of the best.
Oh,
so
yeah. It's not like these guys are part-time plumbers or anything.
No, definitely not.
Or full-time plumbers, and like
it's
just
not
do
like
this on Sundays.
There was this guy on Cook Islands. I heard KATK talking about it. He's literally retired. He is a plumber, I think. And he just got up off the couch and got on a plane to the World Cup randomly. He hasn't touched a footy in like a year.
He has to play like guys are on $1 million a year. Yeah, not the greatest, but yeah, I think the thing with the Rugby World Cup is it only gets good in the semi-finals. I mean, I think everyone realises that.
Well, the group stage is over now, so...
Thank the Lord.
The semi-finals are matched up. It is intriguing from here on out. It's Australia versus Lebanon, England versus Papua New Guinea, I think.
Do you want me to bring it up?
I got it in my head. I'm telling it to you.
You got it in your
head? I
head?
don't need you to bring it up.
Okay.
It's Fiji versus New Zealand and Tonga versus Samoa.
Tonga versus Samoa.
Yeah, that's probably the most competitive game.
Yeah, that's a good fixture. So, is Australia and England on the same side of the bracket? Will they not face?
It'll be New Zealand, Australia in the semis,
and then England versus either Tonga or
Samoa.
I'd love to see an England Australia final.
But I don't want to see England. They're kind of dead. Their team's pretty dead.
Is it? I think they're the second best team in this World Cup.
They don't
look on 4. I mean, I know
they don't have a good team though.
Yeah, because you don't watch the English Super League.
If they're in the English Super League, they're not good.
Yeah, but they're still good. But you don't know that, do you? They've got good players.
Yeah, but not as good as NRL players.
Victor Radley's not a good NRL player.
He plays in the NRL, not the Super League.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They've got a good mix.
He's their best player by a mile.
I just think they've got... I think how dominant they've been. They look like a really well-knit group. They obviously the first game they smoked Tonga, was it? Samoa. And all your...
Mate, that's really racist.
What are you talking about, bro? Yeah, well, they smoked all your Penny Panthers boys, and just proves my point that outside of the
they bounced back.
Cesspit that is Penrith, they are
back well.
useless. So yeah, against who?
I don't know. Whoever else they played.
Friggin' Italy
France.
or something. Yeah, there was actually an interesting point that was put on social media about do you think countries like Ireland and France would do better if their rugby union teams played instead of the rugby league? I think they. I think especially if you look at Ireland, I think Ireland could definitely.
It doesn't make sense why France is so bad because they have a full French league over there.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that good. But I think if you put the Ireland's rugby union team and gave them like a month of training, I think they do much better than the current lot.
Maybe they might.
They might.
I mean, it's a much different game.
I know, but I mean, God, a lot of these guys are pretty hopeless. But yeah, I'm excited to see England sort of progress, and hopefully they do. Australia doing a weird thing.
Yeah, so Meninga is like he's really turning into a bitch. Really, I mean, it has to be said. I'm sorry if Cherry Evans is picked at 7, something has gone seriously wrong in that man's head.
He does love a bit of the cherry.
But he's saying we can pick both of them in the 17.
Can you?
I mean,
why would you do it? You've got Munster.
Why would you do that? No, like one of them on the bench.
Oh, you put Cherry Evans on the bench.
Yeah, but why would you do that? Like, Jack Whiten is a way better 14.
Yeah, 100%.
Ben Hunt's a way better 14. It doesn't make sense to me. But this whole...
But he played both of them together, and
yeah, that was basically competing for the number 7 jersey.
What I think if you did a poll, right, on social media, or wherever,
even Manly fans don't think.
You put a poll in the Manly dressing room, and they'd pick Cleary over.
Yeah, I mean, it's just and the whole way he's structured this tournament is basically nursing Cherry Evans away. Like,
I think
it's protecting him, right?
I think it could definitely backfire.
Yeah, because the whole jersey thing, the reason they did this shitty jersey allocation is so they didn't have to pick a number 7 between Cleary and Cherry Evans. So they're like, we're doing this bullshit alphabetical thing or debut thing.
Yeah, it's like based on how many years
and now
played.
Everyone looks stupid wearing random ass numbers. They did that because they didn't want to pick a 7. And now they've done this thing where they're rotating the halves every week because they don't want to pick a 7.
Well, I think it could definitely backfire. If they come up against New Zealand and they just keep on pissing around, picking a 7 or...
Well, no, now they have to... For the knockout rounds, you have to pick the team.
But are they... But this has just created so much more division because they're only going to have one game of their best 11, essentially.
Yeah, well, they haven't given them time to gel, really.
Yeah.
So... I don't know, mate. Meninga, you're turning into Freddie, mate. It's just,
I don't think he's
rep
levels.
coaches. I mean,
is
he even a good? Yeah, fuck. Oh my god, Adokar is just.
Freddie's like, ooh, maybe I should have picked that guy.
Wow. I must have missed something. I mean, I don't know what I was looking at.
I think he must have been like the best wing in the comp at some time, but Freddie forgot.
Freddie's watching this. He's going, yeah, you know what? He does score full field tries every single game, but can he catch a high ball?
Yeah,
that's what I want to know.
Does he have the running out ability of Daniel Tupou? But yeah, I mean, don't think Daniel Tupou played bad in Origin whatsoever, but Adokar is a difference maker, and he should be definitely in the squad of Origin.
I mean, anyone with a brain could have seen that. But even without a brain, you probably could have seen that.
Well, yeah, it's a very interesting sort of debate to see if Freddie's going to continue to do a couple boneheaded moves in future Origins. But yeah, in terms of this World Cup, I think I like New Zealand, in facing Australia because of how sort of torn Australia has been. I
mean, they have a good team, for sure, but I do think Australia is slightly better because you got Cleary and Tedesco, who are the 2 best players. So, well, if they pick Cleary, that is.
Well, I mean, you could argue, though, if you look at the forward pack for New Zealand, I might even like their forward pack a bit more. And I think their backline's really, really solid as well. A lot of those guys could play representative football, or would play representative football if they didn't play for New Zealand. So, yeah, I think we'll see, but it's an interesting sort of debate to see who's going to rise on top. Is it going to be England? Is it going to be New Zealand? Or is it going to be Australia? Or is it going to be someone else?
It's going to be Samoa.
Oh, God.
Imagine if they win after getting pumped by England.
The funny thing is, his excuse was, as soon as I confronted him about this result, he was like, yeah, but the forwards suck. And I'm like, hang on.
They did suck in that game.
Hang on. Yeah, but look at the names in the forwards.
The names.
They're all your
names does not
players.
equal
They're
performance.
all your...
No.
Lanyu.
Josh Papali'i.
Yeah, but...
Junior Paulo.
Yeah, okay, but those are... those are representative. Those
Yeah,
guys
and they didn't play well in that game.
I know, but what I'm saying is you're blaming on the forward pack when that forward pack is elite, even by the World Cup standards. A lot of those forward pack would get into the Australian team.
Yeah.
So, and apparently the backline would as well, but no, they're shit because they're all Penrith players who cannot play outside of Penrith.
Now they've learned how to do it.
Outside of Penrith.
They've learned how to do it now.
Who have they played since England?
I don't know, but they pumped
Nobody.
whoever they played.
Nobody.
They'll beat Tonga though. I'll call it.
You call the beat Tonga. I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, it's just a joke how bad you were. Or are you a Samoa fan?
No, I'm not Samoan.
Well, I mean, no, but are you a Samoan fan because they've got so many Panthers players in there?
I mean, I'm partial to them, I guess.
You're partial to
I
them.
guess they're my second nation.
Your second nation.
I guess I could say I'm half Samoan.
Well, I'm back in England all the way, and hopefully we do overcome the mighty, who are we playing? PNG?
Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
You could lose to them.
Who did Papua New Guinea have? They got David Mead back.
They got Olam.
Do they still have David Mead?
No.
Okay.
They got Justin Olam.
Justin Olam, that's about it.
Yeah, they didn't pick Seguiaro, so...
That's a bit weird. I mean...
Yeah.
Why didn't Fiji go through?
They did.
Oh, who are the
They're
Fiji?
playing New Zealand.
Oh, Fiji playing New Zealand, yeah. Well, yeah, I actually think Fiji could
Beat New Zealand.
not beat New Zealand, but give them a bit of a run for their money. I do like that.
They only have 2 players, though.
Who?
Kikau and Coruscant.
No, they've got the guy on the wing.
Sivo.
Yeah, they got Micah Sivo.
Mr. drops the ball over the try line in the grand
Yeah,
final.
but he's a big unit, isn't he? Did you see that? I mean, he's just massive. So I imagine
He's
that
just massive,
he's
is
just
he?
massive. Who's the opposite winger to him? Ronaldo?
Ronaldo? Oh, what, for New Zealand?
Yeah, Militao.
I don't know what side they're playing in. But maybe.
Anyway, yeah, I do think Fiji do have some decent players, so hopefully they'll make it competitive.
well,
you just don't want to see any more blowouts.
They
It's
shouldn't
just
win.
embarrassing at this point, the amount of blowouts. I mean, I know in
Yeah.
other World Cups you do see poor teams play, but not to this level. I mean, Jesus.
No, but the Rugby League World Cup is always like this. It's historically been a battle between New Zealand
Well, this
and
is why
Australia.
I don't get the point where, especially NRL 360 put up like around Origin time about you shouldn't, it should be just Australian players and you should restrict Origin rules. It just discourage players from playing for their nationalities if you don't allow them to play for Origin as well. And you want to expand the international game. You want to make other teams outside of Australia better. You don't want to see Australia being the surefire favourites every year, do you?
No, but all the players are coming from Tonga and Samoa, who they're already choosing to play for anyway.
Well,
It's not like they're players coming from Ireland or France.
I do like how it's a bit more relaxed, the rules, because I know in football you can't represent you've got I think there's a specific amount of caps that if you play for one country you can't represent any other countries. But I see Luke Keary plays for Ireland. I do like they're a bit more flexible in that, so they allow
Mitch Moses plays for Lebanon.
I do like how they're a bit more flexible in that department because I think they need to be, because you want to sort of bring as much NRL talent to the Rugby League World Cup as possible. And I wish more players did that. I wish more players players that know they're not going to get into the Australian team, but might have
but you can't
different
just
heritage.
you can't just make.
Yeah,
up
my
a-
great
up a
uncle's
nationality.
dog sitter's niece was actually Jamaican, so I can play for Jamaica now.
Yeah,
But yeah, anyway, moving on. The Rugby League World Cup is about to get interesting, and it hasn't been.
I mean, we can quickly talk about the cricket one as well for a second.
Oh, do we?
Well, I don't know what's going on. Group stages
Apparently
right now.
Finch is doing terrible. I mean, I think he's just been
He
terrible.
was doing terrible, but he made a half century in the last game, and they won against Ireland.
Well, apparently the India-Pakistan game was massive. I think that's a really good thing. Because they can't play each other. There'll be a literal civil war, or not civil war, but there'll be a massive war if they play in their home country. So I think it's cool that they got to play each other. Apparently it's packed out at the MCG, I think it was, or
right,
SCG. But yeah, I thought that was a cool spectacle. But that's about it. That's about all I know about it.
New Zealand are doing very well. So it looks like either England or Australia will miss out on progressing through.
Oh, it's a bit interesting.
The group stage.
That's a bit interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, well, New Zealand are sort of kings of the short form. They've become really, really good at sort of the overall cricket game. I mean, that's all New Zealanders play, cricket and rugby. So you do expect them to be half decent at cricket. But Yes, I mean, I'm hoping England can progress. I'm not. Look, I'm a Test fan. I'm not a T20 fan at all.
Yeah, but 2020 is exciting and it's easy to watch. It's only a few hours.
It's easy to watch for casuals, but I mean, it's kind of like I kind of have this theory about baseball as well. If you haven't played baseball, it's the most boring sport in the world. And I think it's the same thing about like long form cricket. If you haven't played cricket, you must hate watching it.
Well, I haven't really played cricket.
But do you watch Test?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you might be an outlier, but I just think it's that kind of thing where unless you've played it, you can't really enjoy long form, and that's why people say cricket's boring, or the Test cricket's boring. But I love Test cricket, and that's the main thing that I enjoy, especially watching England play. Even if they're playing some Sri Lanka or whatever, I do like watching England play. So, yeah, I'm not really a T20 fan. I just think it's superficial. It's just not
superficial.
I don't want to be a traditionalist. It's not even in that. I just love it. I just love long batting sessions. I don't know what to say. I love watching. I just love sitting on the, couch
you gotta
watching.
love watching Maxwell smack 50 off 20 balls.
Well, I don't support
sixes.
Australia, so I don't love that. Even if
whatever, Ben Stokes.
Yeah, but I love that in
Even
a Test
though I think he's
arena.
retired.
Did you remember Headingley a couple of years ago where Stokes made that? See, that was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
But so that's the kind of stuff.
No one cares about it though.
But I just love sitting on the couch for a whole day watching England bat.
Get pumped by Australia.
Yeah, that's more recent. But I mean, in England we do better. But yeah,
well, you still lost. But yeah,
well, we let Scotty Boland become a living legend. So yeah, that wasn't the greatest thing. But we've got Brendan McCullum as our head coach now. So
Brendan McCullum,
yeah,
a New Zealander.
Yeah,
how is that going to help?
Well, he actually has helped. We beat a lot of teams. So we're playing.
Right.
It's called Bazball. It's like we play. We score.
Brendan McCullum, wasn't he like a 2020 player?
Yeah, we score like 4.5 and over. Okay, we literally just tonk the ball. He's like, you know what? We score 50 runs when we try and block. So let's just try and smack the ball.
Yeah, that's literally what England did when they were over here. They just blocked until they edged and got out.
Yeah, so it's like, you know what? We might as well just smack the ball around and just hope for the best. And we've been doing half decent so far.
What, against
India?
Jamaica?
We did well against India. I forgot who we smacked up New Zealand. We beat them like 3-0 or something. We did really well against New Zealand. So yeah, I think hopefully Bazball is on the up.
Bazball on the up?
Yeah, Bazball. See, that's why I'm interested in Test cricket. I'm just couldn't give less of a shit.
Yeah, nice. Respect.
All
right. Speaking of on the up, Manchester United, they're back, baby. They're going all the way. Europa League Championship, here we come.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Europa League, have you seen the teams in there? Jesus Christ. It's like if you fast or rewind it about 10 years back and you said these teams were in the Europa League, you'd have a laugh. But yeah, it's an absolute minted competition at the moment. But yeah, that's not the point. Manchester United, we're doing really well at the moment. I think we're on a 5 or 6 game unbeaten streak. And yeah,
it's actually the longest streak in about 10
and the
years.
interesting thing is we're playing really good football. We didn't play well against West Ham. So we sort of scraped the 1-0. However, when we looked at the first half against Chelsea and the whole game against Spurs, I thought we dominated. And that's something that I haven't been able to say about Man United for how long? I mean, under Ole, it was always counter-attack. And yeah, we finished second. And under Mourinho, we finished second. But it was always counter-attack. We never dominated the ball. We never dominated an opponent. But against Spurs especially, we just press them to living hell. And a lot of players are just finding form at the moment. You look at even Rashford is looking decent, especially off that left. I think everyone knows that off the left is his best position. And his striker, he's a bit wasteful at times, but he's looking solid now. He scored his 100th goal of his career just before his 25th birthday, so congratulations.
That's crazy. That's actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
100 goals.
It's quicker than Ronaldo.
It feels like he hasn't been around that long.
No, he's been around a while. Louis van Gaal's first year, I think he came, so 2015, 2016. But yeah, he's a very good and very talented player, and hopefully we can get the best out of it.
100 goals, is that good? Because I feel like he's underperformed for what he was touted as.
Well, yeah, he started his career off really well, and then sort of under Ole in the around the COVID period or later on in that COVID season, and then from up to now, really, he's been pretty poor. Even though he's scored some goals, his overall performance has been very wasteful. He just hasn't been as dynamic as he sort of burst on the scene. as he was when he burst on the scene. But anyway,
I think I know why they're improving. They want to go to Qatar.
They want to go to Qatar. All these players.
Like Luke Shaw, he's suddenly found form.
Luke Shaw is probably the main one. I mean...
He wants to go to Qatar.
He was absolutely wanked last year, and all of a sudden, he's just like the best left-back. I mean, if he's the best English left-back right now, and no one can convince me otherwise.
And I was watching videos, and no one had him on the plane.
Well, no one had him on the plane a month and a half ago, but all of a sudden, he's sort of thrusted himself into that position. Even Maguire looked like a footballer.
He looked serviceable.
He looked like he could play. I
still wouldn't recommend picking him, but
he's still a little bit dodgy, but still. Casemiro has been an absolute revelation. We've been crying out for a player in his position for so many years. Delot, he was the most bang average player I've ever seen.
He's a non-rare gold.
He was a 78 non-rare gold.
Yeah.
He was destined to be that for the rest of his career. But he's played so many games recently. Fair play to him. And he's been unbelievable.
De Gea made some good saves.
Was not included in the 55-man Spain squad. Are you telling me there's 5 Spanish goalkeepers better than him? Really? Kepa. Wow.
Was he in there?
Yep. Kepa was in there.
That just came to my head. That is knowledge.
The Brentford keeper was in there.
What's his name?
Oh God, what's his name? Raya. David Raya.
Oh, Raya.
Yeah.
Maguire.
Yeah, you know David Raya?
Crystal Palace.
No.
Isn't there a Crystal Palace one?
No. Guaita, maybe?
Yeah.
Guaita. Yeah, maybe. He's just... I think it's just a definite vendetta that the Spain manager has against him. I think there is definite beef there. But yeah, in terms of our team at Manchester United, Eriksen was good on the weekend. And then you've got, the likes of Bruno's playing a lot more consistently as well, which you've publicly said that he's the worst player you've ever seen. Yeah. I don't think that anymore.
He's scored a couple of good goals. His shots are going over the crossbar less.
Yeah, he's not an NFL kicker anymore. He's kind of turned it back into a footballer. But yeah, Anthony, did you see the sort of backlash that he got for doing those spins?
Yeah, I saw a compilation of it where he just randomly does a 360 when he gets the ball for no reason.
Everyone's just complaining that he's doing a 360 no scope.
He's doing does the same trick every time. He doesn't beat anyone with it.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people were overcritical of that. And did you see Garnacho?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really solid.
He debuted.
Yeah, against Sheriff. And I put this in the group chat. Or I said this to Oscar. He looks very similar to one of our mates. I think it's uncanny how much he looks like him, but apparently Oscar doesn't believe that. But
they have different hair colours.
Yeah, well, not really. They both got brown hair.
Reece is blonde.
He's not blonde.
Yeah, he is.
Are you demented? Are you colourblind?
No.
He's got brown hair, you idiot.
No, it's a blondie brown.
It's a brown. It's the same hair color. Mine's just a darker brown. His is like a slightly lighter brown than mine.
It's blondie.
Oh God,
it's light.
It's the same hair. Okay,
the sun radiates through it.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. But yeah, he looks very similar. But anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, it's kind of weird. And we also included on the list Liverpool's downfall. They lost to, I think, 18th in the league and 20th in the league in back-to-back weeks, which is not the greatest for them.
See, Jesse Lingard with speed.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
After they beat Liverpool,
he's like, be honest. Does Ronaldo know who I am? Everyone knows who you are. Speed.
Yeah, bro. I used to say "suey" to him in the locker room before I got kicked out of that place.
Yeah. Obviously, Liverpool aren't doing too well at the moment, and it's great to see. If you look at other results across the league, Arsenal is still top of the league, which is not great.
Even though United are doing so well, they're still fifth.
Yeah, but again, we've got a game in hand, and we're probably sort of in a lot better form than teams like Spurs. But Newcastle is a surprise packet of the league, even though teams expected them to do better and do well this season. They're fourth at the moment, which is pretty surprising. Miguel Almiron is like a god at the moment, and Eddie Howe's doing wonders over there. So yeah, it's a very sort of cool period for the Premier League, I guess, because there's so many games being crammed into such a short period because Qatar paid billions of dollars to have a World Cup, but essentially
and they enslaved a lot of men
and killed a lot of them. But that's So according to Gary Neville, that's okay. But anyway, that's
Why do you say it's okay?
No. Essentially, Gary Neville is being criticised recently because he has a very political stance on, especially right-wing politicians, about how they don't give enough money to the poor, and that's obviously he makes a lot of valid points in terms of his political sort of things. But you can't act politically correct or sort of heavily on politics and then go be hired by a Qatari sort of network to broadcast and promote the World Cup and say it's all good, you know. So he's been called hypocritical, essentially, that he doesn't care about the human rights violations that Qatar have done, but he cares about things that have happened in the UK.
But I mean, it's a World Cup, you know, you gotta...
I know, but no, it's not even the fact that he's commentating, it's the fact that he's like promoting the World Cup. He's like he's doing documentaries about the World Cup and he's broadcasting that it's all good in Qatar and stuff like that. So essentially he's shaking his booty for the dollar. That's apparently what's going on. But yeah, very interesting stuff in the Premier League. Arsenal, I think, have got a game against Man City soon, so hopefully
they lose.
And I know that I might get criticised for that because Man City are kind of a rival of Man United.
Arsenal.
But I don't want to see... I can't live on social media.
They don't have a good enough team to win.
I won't be able to go on Twitter for like a month if Arsenal win. So, and they've looked a bit more dodgy as of recent. They don't look like they've got an exact cutting edge that they require to consistently be up the top of the table. But yeah, it's a very interesting sort of season so far, and hopefully it continues before the World Cup. And we'll do a World Cup preview probably in a podcast or two time, and we'll sort of evaluate the prospects of England and and sort of predicting that England will win the World Cup.
And every team.
Well, yeah, England will win the World Cup. I'm going to spoiler alert, cat's out the bag. I want England to win. So, and I'm predicting them to win the World Cup. But anyway, moving on. We'll chat a bit of F1.
Obviously Mexico happened on Monday morning. Yeah, Monday morning. Weird start time, 6 a.m. on Monday morning, something like that. Yeah, weird start time.
Max Verstappen.
Predictable result, though.
Max Verstappen. Sorry.
Yeah, well, Max won. You probably could have guessed that was going to happen. 14th win.
Well, actually, no. I thought
season.
Checo could have won, but same deal. He's always a god in Mexico.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's not a terrible prediction, is it?
I guess, but he's way worse than Max, so I would be putting heads.
But I mean, he'd already won. Yeah, but he'd already won, so Red Bull aren't going to probably prioritise him, especially in Checo's home race. But yeah.
But this was his 14th win, so it's the officially the most wins ever in a single season by a driver.
The most wins ever.
Yep.
Well, he cheated a championship last year, according to Sky Sport, who no longer have contact with Red Bull or Max Verstappen because apparently they pissed them off so much because they talk about how it was a conspiracy essentially against Mercedes. But anyway, apart from that, the race itself, what was it? Lewis finished second.
Lewis, Perez, Russell, Sainz, Leclerc.
So yeah, Ferrari had a bit of a mare. I think that's the first time we've said that this year. I mean, they've been so good this year.
They really have performed really well. I mean,
but yeah.
Are they even second in constructors anymore? I don't know.
Well, I think Mercedes could definitely overcome them. But yeah, I think the story of the race for an Australian point of view was Danny Rick.
Oh, Daniel Ricciardo.
Danny Rick was going back to his old school. He was like, I've got a 10-second penalty here. I might as well just fling it. And it was a bit of a harsh penalty. A lot of people were sort of debating that it should have been a 5-second penalty instead of a 10-second, but that's by the by. He got a 10-second penalty and he just flung it up so many insides.
So many insides.
The
late of the late breakers. That's what Crofty loves saying that.
Yeah, it was old school Danny Rick, which you love to see. And yeah, it sort of established, hopefully, in Red Bull's mind. Anyway, that's what we sort of, I wrote down on the list today. I want Red Bull to go get Danny Rick. I think it's a logical option.
Yeah, it can make people support Red Bull again because everyone hates them right now because they're winning.
Yeah, but do reserve drivers even do media?
No, they don't. But you'd have to wait till Checo gets fucked.
I think
off,
I think they might make him an exception. They'll do like a 3 driver.
So even still, they would have to get rid of Checo's contract because I think he's got 2 more years. So
yeah, maybe they're not looking. But It's just the Mercedes. I see no avenue
But
in
it's
which
like-
he goes for, which he
Like,
ever
it-
drives
yeah,
for them.
Well,
Lewis said he's not
It's-
retiring for like 5 years.
I mean, we'll see. I think Lewis's mind is very malleable to what is happening around him.
Yeah, I
Like,
think Lewis wants to continue driving, and I don't think.
I think he's committed to next year, but beyond that, I don't think he's committed. So he may want to drive on, but he may not.
And do you think Mercedes are gonna really just say, Danny Rick, you're going to be a driver for Mercedes? I don't think Mercedes.
Well,
make
considering
that.
they had Valtteri Bottas for 5 years, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think they believe George Russell is the number one guy. I think they may think it in the future, but I think even for next year, I don't think they'd say, you know what, he can be our number one guy. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I just don't see an avenue in which any of the top 3 teams where he gets an opportunity. Really, I mean,
Well, yeah, I don't think he can get it at Ferrari, and I'd rather drive for Haas than Ferrari, seriously. But
what's wrong with Haas? Haas would go to it. We're finishing top 5.
what was your prediction at the start of the season?
top 5?
And what was mine?
I don't know.
Correct.
No, you said last.
No, I said or second last.
Yeah, but they didn't finish last, did they? Or second? Did they finish second last?
They're like 1 point ahead of AlphaTauri.
See, there you go.
So-
None of our predictions were right. It's not
There's
even
4 races left.
It's not even a point in talking about it. So yeah, I just think the only possible way is Red Bull, maybe, because I do see
Yeah.
Red Bull maybe
It has
moving
to be
off
Red Bull.
Perez.
Because Christian loves him, Max loves him.
Yeah, but I
Just
just,
fucking homies.
it's the same thing with. I just don't see Red Bull being like, you know what? I think we give Danny Rick the opportunity.
Mate, they'd be happy to.
I think maybe, but I think it'd be a last ditch option. I think
No.
they'd want to go for the Supreme of Supreme.
No one is better than Daniel
Mm.
that's available.
Well, available now, but I'm talking about next year.
Who would be better?
Well, you don't know. It depends on different developments. You don't know
Well, there is
who
no
performs. Who performs next year? You don't know.
one. You're not going to pick...
What if Piastri?
Piastri's locked into McLaren, all right? He's staying in that orange fucking car, whether he likes it or not, all right?
What if Lando? You know,
Lando, he's locked up for the next 20 years.
Well, I mean, look, it could be a lot of different drivers. Bottas, no.
There's no... Like, okay, Daniel, yes, he has had a shit 18 months, but for his career, he's the best driver available.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, we'd all love to see Danny Rick get an opportunity. It's just I don't know.
I need to see him in another car to see if he did lose it or if it just...
I think
was
we all
the
know
car,
that he's kind of lost.
or if the car was just fucked.
Well,
So-
the fact that Lando's consistently outperformed
Yeah,
him
but
this year,
but the car's built for Lando. There's different styles of driving.
built for him.
It is.
They didn't invite Daniel to the meeting, so just like,
No, literally.
Lando, this is our special car for you.
Because he's been at the team for longer, so throughout the whole process of years, they were developing it around him as the future, and then Daniel just
Popped up.
yeah.
But yeah, well, hopefully Daniel gets a
But
seat.
nevertheless, it was great to see
2023.
him perform well, obliterate Lando Norris, left him in the dust, destroyed the Alpines, sent Tsunoda off the track, which was great. We don't like you over here.
I mean, he's
He complains on the radio too much. He's too aggressive on the radio.
What does
and
he
it's,
say?
It's probably a little bit of a language barrier, but he's just like everything that happens. He's like, "Oh, this car is so shit. It's so slow."
But I think
That
Max
was a terrible
Verstappen
accent.
also complains a lot.
No,
on the radio.
Verstappen goes, "Wow, guys, this car's really good. I don't even have to try, and I'm a minute ahead of second."
No, well, Max Verstappen, I've never heard so much complaints out of a driver before. I mean, it's every 10 seconds. Guys, the left rear engine is fucking fucked.
Okay, we'll just boost.
Guys,
that
I've
for
got
you.
no downforce. Guys, I'm only 10 seconds faster than everybody else right now. Guys, what's going on? Guys,
Guys, give me the turbo now.
guys, DRS is only working 99.9% of the time. It's not working, guys.
No, he doesn't complain that much.
I think he complains a lot.
I think other drivers complain more.
Even
Lewis complains a lot.
No, I just hear Lewis go, guys, these tires are fine. These tires are fine. I can take these tires to the rest.
Most races he's complaining about the strategy. He's like, guys, we've messed that up. Why?
Well, he says that at the end. I think Verstappen throughout the race is always complaining. I think Lewis at the end of the race, guys, what the fuck's going on? I am Sir Lewis Hamilton here. You guys are peasants working in this factory. How dare you not
At the end of
serve me
every
a car.
race, he does his little public service announcement. He's like, "Thanks to everyone in the factory. Couldn't do it without you."
No, he used to do that.
This
Now
is
he's
for
like,
everyone.
no.
Well, no, he doesn't win races anymore, so he can't do it.
Yeah, but now he goes, guys, we just got to be better, guys. He gets like out, he like crashes the car by himself. He just dive bombs into someone else's car. Guys, we got to do better.
He just folds the car up into a paper ball. And he's
Guys, come on, we got to do better. Everyone in the factory, we got to do better.
The traction wasn't there, guys. We've got to do better. It was a fresh set of softs, but
He
I mean,
sends it right at the start of the race. George Russell is actually quite quickly becoming the most hated F1 driver, apparently, because I think
because
especially
he was complaining about the strategy.
No, I think it was because he completely torpedoed Carlos Sainz's race. Not this race, the race before.
Last race, yeah.
He just sent it right into Sainz, and it completely ruined him. I think he started off pole and then was in second.
I mean, Russell, he does have a bit of an annoying voice.
Well, it's because he looks so posh, and he
is posh.
I know, but he looks so like, I don't want to say it, but like daddy's money kind of. He's like he's like a trust fund kid. He looks like that kind of person, and he just speaks so like. I mean, every F1 driver speaks arrogantly in some way,
Except Danny Rick.
unless you're Bottas or Danny Rick. But he just takes it to another level, I think, because of how he looks and his accent and how he talks. And I think that's what makes him unlikable. But yeah, he's just become quite even more unlikable the past couple of weeks because of how he's sort of complained and how he torpedoed Sainz's race. But yeah, I mean, what's going on in the F1 season? I mean, I think we're all just, for me personally, I'm just hoping for a Lewis win. I think that's just...
Yeah, I just want to see Daniel...
Ferrari fans are like, God, can we just have one race where there's just not... we just like cruise? Why can't we be like Red Bull for one race? I mean...
Well, they don't have the pace anymore, so...
Yeah, that's... Well, I think they just didn't bother upgrading the car. Like, all the fuckers in the factory are like, you fucking pricks. You idiots. We are not going to give you a good car.
All the mechanics just went on strike after watching the strategy. They're like, why the fuck?
Why are we doing anything? We might as well not do anything, and we're just going to...
Why would I spend
anyway?
Every day of my life for an entire year developing this rocket for you to just pit 7 times when you only need to pit twice?
Yeah. Strategy Z, guys. We're on Strategy Z.
The mechanics are all
That's
sitting
another
there.
thing that you hear on the mic all the time. It's just, I think we mentioned it. It's like, I swear I've heard Plan C so many times from Ferrari. I've never heard Plan A. I've never heard them say Plan A or Plan A. It's Plan D, guys. Plan D. Come on.
Yeah, they don't have Plan A. Or they just make Plan A a shit strategy. I don't know.
Yeah, well, hopefully... Well, I think Ferrari's probably got the most fans in F1. Or you're a Max Verstappen fan. Either one.
Yeah.
But so yeah, a lot of Ferrari fans aren't that happy at the moment, but they should have a rocket.
I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah, but well let's hope.
We'll see. Next year, hopefully, either Mercedes or Ferrari can take a jump. Obviously, Ferrari still have retards running the show, so they won't be able to win races.
Well, they could fire them. Well, they won't.
Well, they won't. So hopefully, Mercedes makes a jump.
Well, which you expect them to do, because they obviously had to change the car up a lot this year, and they will invest a lot of money into the car for next season as well. So I'd imagine that they will, but you never know.
Yeah, I just want to see Danny Rick perform well and just like say fuck you to McLaren in the last few races.
But that's the thing, though, that there isn't that many injuries in F1. You don't get injured that often. I mean, you might get like, because usually if for a replacement driver,
I mean these last few races of this year, for him to just like drive really well, beat Lando, and then Oscar Piastri comes in next year and is shit, and they're like, wow, we should have kept Daniel.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think Piastri's probably going to perform around Daniel's level anyway, and he's a lot cheaper than Daniel. So, but yeah, anyway,
they're probably going to lose money in sponsors and shit.
Moving on.
NBA. Is there any specific NBA stories you want to talk about before we get into a debate, or any things that are catching your eye?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things catching your eye. The traditional big boys, Curry, and the Warriors haven't started well. Clippers haven't started well.
Lakers haven't started well.
Oh God.
I mean, I think anyone would have predicted that.
0-5.
Well, it's 1-5 now.
Oh, 1-5. You started 0-5 though.
Yeah.
But 1-5 now. You're on the up. You're
Yeah.
1 game win streak. Do you reckon you could hit a 2-game win streak this season, or just 1 game at a time?
Definitely possible.
Possible.
Improbable, but possible.
Improbable, but possible. But you're tanking for Victor. Oh, wait, you don't have your draft pick, do you?
No,
So
we don't.
you can't really tank for Victor, can you? But anyway, who's your draft pick, by the way?
Who?
Yeah, probably the Jazz.
We don't have it. I don't know.
Yeah, probably the Jazz.
Pelicans.
Danny Ainge is like, God. Yeah, that's probably another storyline in the NBA. The Jazz are somehow a god squad. What are they? 6-2, 5-2?
Yeah, well, they just beat Memphis today, so.
So yeah, Danny Ainge did it again. I mean, you mentioned before about Isaiah Thomas, how he accidentally made a good team in Boston when he was trying to tank when he signed Isaiah Thomas or traded for Isaiah Thomas. Had Jay Crowder, had like all these.
Was Kelly Olynyk on that team as well?
Yeah, Kelly Olynyk.
Kelly Olynyk's his guy.
Yeah, it's just, he's just, I don't know how he does it. He just creates these god squads accidentally when he's trying to tank.
Yeah.
I mean, he prolonged the Boston rebuild for so many years for the simple fact that he couldn't find a way to lose. I mean, it was unbelievable. He just couldn't find a way to lose. But yeah, the Jazz are probably the surprise of the season so far for me.
I mean, I don't think it'll last, though.
I think they could be a sneaky play-in. I mean,
I think the wheels will come off. I mean, Laurie Markkinen, is he really an all-star?
yeah,
I mean,
the wheels could come off, but I mean, it has happened before with Danny boy. Oh, Danny boy. But yeah, those are my sort of takeaways. It hasn't been that interesting, obviously, because the big boys haven't performed well, and the
Milwaukee look
apart
great.
from Milwaukee, but
without Middleton.
but yeah, Doncic is another sort of takeaway. What is it? 6 straight 30-point games for the first time since was it Michael Jordan in 1986? I think I saw something like that. Which is
he wants that trophy this year,
which is a pretty interesting one. Yeah, I think he's probably favorite for MVP right now. And there's no way they give it to Jokic again or Giannis maybe, but I think Doncic is probably.
I think LeBron probably.
Yeah, sure. It's definitely. I think I could predict that now. Even we're probably going to do sort of award predictions for in next week's podcast, but yeah, I think him or Ja is just locked. It's either him or Ja. There's not going to be anyone else.
No, Donovan Mitchell.
No, they won't pick a Cavs player that's not LeBron to be MVP. I mean, they barely picked LeBron to be MVP when he was on the Cavs, so I doubt that. And yeah, the Cavs, unless they finish the number 1 seed over like Milwaukee, I don't see it happening. Yeah, so that's my NBA news. But you've got a debate lined up.
We'll have a little bit of a chat. Obviously, the two major flop stories this year are the Lakers and the Nets, so far at least. So I think it's time we have a little debate about who's the biggest liability or the worst player out of one Russell Westbrook and one Ben Simmons. Obviously, they've both had horrendous starts to the season. They're shells of their former selves.
Which we both predicted, so props to us. Which is not a hard prediction. I mean, it's like predicting the sun will rise in the morning, but yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're going to actually debate which one of them is worse. Now, you think Westbrook is worse?
100%.
I think Simmons is worse.
Look, I don't like Simmons whatsoever, and I've said that publicly. However, Westbrook is so much more of a liability on your team because he has zero ability in anything. In anything. He is awful. Ben Simmons at least has positives that you can associate with his game. I can't find a single positive about Russell Westbrook. He's bad in the locker room. Nobody likes him. He can't pass without turning the ball over. He can't shoot. And because he can't shoot, everyone's just standing off him and just waiting for him to take a contested layup, which he misses. I mean, what can he do anymore? He just shoots inefficiently. He has the odd game where he shoots 7 for 20, which is like the best scoring performance of the season. He's an absolute liability, and the fact that he's on that much money, you can't make any moves surrounding any other player. Nobody wants to trade for him unless you give away picks as well. It's just an absolute nightmare. I think Ben Simmons, as much as I don't like him, as much as I hate the fact that he has zero capacity to improve his game and is the exact same player, even worse of a player than he was when he first came into the league, which infuriates the hell out of me. He still is 6'10" and still can pass and still can rebound and still can defend. even though he's looked a bit dodgy defensively, he can still do it. So yeah, I just don't know how you would pick Ben Simmons over Russell Westbrook.
Well,
frankly,
I'll tell you why. I've been watching the Nets a little bit now.
You have
Ben Simmons, while he is still 6'10", his defense has been horrific to start the year. I mean, Zion bitched him, Giannis bitched him, everyone that's been on him has bitched him because they're defending him as a 4 because they got Kyrie on the floor as a point guard. So, and he's shown zero ability to stop anyone. When I watch him defend right, he basically, you don't even need to back him down. He starts 1 foot away from the basket, lets you get into him. You put your shoulder into him, he's already under the hoop, and you just put it up. He has zero resistance defensively. I mean, I guess he's good at shuffling his feet on smaller
he can get in the
guards,
passing lanes. He can block a shot.
I mean, but he is getting bitched by these bigger people.
No, but
I mean,
he's so much better of an athlete than Russell Westbrook is right now.
Sure, but I mean, and offensively, the guy is afraid. No. I would rather have someone that's bricking, but at least not scared of shooting, than someone
not to Russell Westbrook
that cannot
level.
shoot and does not shoot.
Well, not to Russell Westbrook's level.
Ben Simmons,
he's shooting like 0.8%.
Ben Simmons, no one comes outside of the paint to guard him. It is a liability. He is afraid.
Westbrook.
He's afraid of taking layups. You see Kyrie Irving screaming at him, pleading, "Shoot the ball, Ben," when he's standing under the hoop, and he just throws it over his head because he's scared.
Okay, but
I mean, this guy
player is. I'm not saying that Ben Simmons is playing well. I'm saying that Russell Westbrook being wide open, getting the ball from the top of the key, being wide open, Zubac standing right off him, letting him shoot a wide open 3. He doesn't do it because he knows he's going to miss. Him dribbling into the paint, realizing that Zubac is only there because he knows that the only thing he has is a layup. So then Russell Westbrook dribbles back out to the 3-point line. By that time, there's 2 seconds left on the clock, which then Zubac closes out on him, and they just fade away 3 from the corner, and he airballs.
I would rather.
That is Russell Westbrook.
I would rather
in a nutshell.
someone that at least tries, even if you're
tries that.
Ben Simmons doesn't try anything.
I would rather
he stands
have
out there doing
someone
nothing.
that not try anything than do that.
You can't play basketball with 4 players.
Yeah. But you can't play basketball with a player that just hogs the ball the whole time and then just chucks
He doesn't
it at
hog
the
the ball. Westbrook in his last game was efficient. 2 for 4 for 3, 6 from 12 for the field, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. He was good.
Okay, yeah. What about the other 5 games?
Okay, that was his best game of the season. He hasn't played well in the other games, but Ben
hasn't
Simmons
played well.
Yeah, okay.
The worst
badly.
start I've ever seen a player do.
It was bad, sure. And Westbrook is bad, sure. But I'm definitely not praising Westbrook. But Ben Simmons, you're saying he's a good passer. He doesn't pass anymore. His assist numbers are horrific this year. All he does is dump the ball off to KD or Kyrie, set a screen, and stand there. There is no diversity to his game. He doesn't dribble the ball. As soon as he gets over halfway, he looks to hand the ball off.
The question is liability. Liability-wise, Russell Westbrook's contract alone is horrendous. And
Ben Simmons' contract is worse. 4 years, max.
You could find a suitor for Ben Simmons.
No
way in God's green earth would anybody with a brain choose to get Russell Westbrook right now.
Nobody wants them for his team, but they'll take him for the cap room, sure. And if
the cap room, he's on $47 million.
Yeah, expiring. It's gone at the end of this year. And they'll take the 2 picks for that.
I think
definitely.
I think you could find a Simmons for Ben Simmons. I don't think you could find a Simmons.
No one is taking Ben Simmons. I mean, Brooklyn are praying that Ben Simmons improves because they can't get rid of him. They physically can't move him because there's like 4 years left on his deal.
Can't physically move Russell Westbrook. And Ben Simmons, even though he is so bad at the moment, he still has potential in him, and he's still a young player.
Sure, he has
Russell
potential.
Westbrook is like 33. There's no way that guy's getting any better anytime soon. In fact, he's on such a steep decline. He could be in a retirement home by the end of the year.
He's declining, but Ben Simmons, he's averaging like 4 points per game.
Yeah, but I still think in terms of
4 points.
I know, but I still think in terms of efficiency, he's not as bad as Westbrook.
Because he doesn't shoot. Obviously, his efficiency's better.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Efficiency matters in the NBA. And if you're
not when you take 0
bad,
shots. You can't count efficiency when you take 0 shots.
Those players that can do other things do have value. He's not completely hopeless. He
is devalued in every aspect of the game.
Makes his team worse every single time he's on the court. Against the Clippers, you were up. Then he came on the court for the last 6 minutes and you got spanked. He's awful.
Yeah, Westbrook is terrible, but Simmons is a joke of a basketball player.
Well, I hate his mentality too, but Westbrook's mentality is equally as bad because he doesn't seem to comprehend that he's not a superstar anymore.
Yeah,
he can't accept that in his head.
Well, he's accepted it now, coming off the bench, 6th man of the year incoming.
I don't think he accepted it. I think he was forced on the bench. I don't think he wasn't. It's the same thing that happened to Melo, but way worse. Melo could not accept in OKC that, look, my role probably now is a 6th man because I am so limited. The only thing I can do is really shoot the ball. That's it. And he had probably a good 3 years after that when he accepted that. Now, Russell Westbrook needs to do the same. I don't even think Russell Westbrook can do the same thing because even off the bench, he'd be awful. He's awful.
Well, in one game, he looked pretty solid.
One game. What about the other 5 where he was dreadful? Well, he cannot play.
At least we can say Russell Westbrook has had 1 good game this year. Ben Simmons has had 0.
Yeah, but Russell Westbrook was the worst player in the history of the NBA in those other 5 games.
I think Ben Simmons was worse.
No. You think Ben Simmons was worse in those 5 games?
I mean, I'm watching this guy.
Right. All right, let's bring up Russell Westbrook's stats then.
Yeah, okay.
Let's look at it.
Let's read their stats.
Okay, yeah. You think Ben Simmons was worse than this? All right.
Bring up their averages.
Well, I'm bringing up the individual games, okay? Okay.
Bring up their averages.
Okay, so, all right, let's switch it over. Okay. So, Warriors, was that opening game that you played? 19 points, 7 to 12, 1 for 3. That's decent. 11 rebounds. So that's a good start of the game. Start of the season. Yep. Next game, against the Clippers, 2 points, 0 for 11, 0 for 6, 4 assists. Probably 100 turnovers. I can't see turnovers on this, because they're probably in the millions. Next game against the Trailblazers, 10 points, 4 of 15, 0 for 3. The next game, he didn't even play. The game after that, Timberwolves, 6 of 17, 1 for 4 from 3. I mean, the guy is dreadful. He's shooting 20% from 3, 34% from the field for the year. He's averaging 13 points a game. That's dreadful.
I mean, Ben Simmons is averaging 6 points per game.
Look at his averages, though.
Last time we saw Ben
Simmons,
Simmons,
his shooting numbers. Look at his shooting numbers.
He's shooting 44% from the floor.
Way better than Westbrook. 10% better.
As a guy that exclusively shoots layups and dunks.
You 44%. Think Westbrook makes threes? Does Westbrook make a shot?
That's why his percentage is lower. Simmons' percentage is higher because he exclusively shoots layups and dunks. He
knows that he can only shoot layups and dunks. Westbrook can't comprehend that.
Yes, but to play basketball, you have to shoot. So
not if you can't shoot.
If you're not shooting.
Dwight Howard was on my team and he started pulling up for 3 every game.
He's a center.
Westbrook essentially has the game of a center right now.
Okay. But if you're Ben Simmons, you have to shoot to be good.
Well, I'm just trying to look at Russell Westbrook's turnovers right now because they must be the worst in the history of in the history of basketball. But yeah, it's just how you can sort of let me just see. All right, turnovers. Yep.
What's he averaging in turnovers?
Well, he's got what was it? It's not showing.
Well, I'll show you. He's averaging 2.6 turnovers a game.
No, it's because that's taken into account the game that he didn't play.
So no, it's not.
2.7.
He's played 5 games.
No, but it doesn't even make sense because, no, the one that I have, he's played 4, so I don't know.
Okay, well, this is the NBA stats. This is official.
Well, this is on the NBA website. I don't know. Right, anyway.
It's right here. He averages 2.6 turnovers. You know who averages more? Ben Simmons.
Okay, cool. But still, Russell Westbrook is a way worse player than Ben Simmons. You're not going to convince me that
we've just established that he's not.
No, you've established that he's not. I have not established that whatsoever. I can objectively say that Russell Westbrook, look, he may have more higher scoring games, but that doesn't mean he's a better player because he can do less than Simmons. On a basketball court,
Simmons can't do anything because he doesn't do anything.
He can still rebound. He can still pass.
He's shit at that now.
He's not shit at that.
He is.
He's not.
He is horrific.
Well, look, I don't want... you're trying to paint me as like a Ben Simmons lover. I have openly said on this podcast multiple times that he's probably the most hated player in the NBA for me. But I can recognize if I'm a GM right now and if I have to pick one of these... It's a fantasy draft. I've got to pick one of these guys.
Sure. The only reason you would pick one of them is because of age.
and contract and ability.
In fact, I'd take the older one because he's going to retire quicker, so
no.
he can get the fuck out of here.
You
If
and
you
I
pick
both
Ben
know.
Simmons, you got to stick with him for 10 more years.
You don't have to stick with him for 10 more years, but
Or until he retires, 10 years of 6 points per game.
look, I don't like him, but
One
Russell
turnover
Westbrook
for
is
every basket
physically
he scores.
the worst player in the NBA in terms of. I'm not saying that there are obviously worse players in the NBA, but in terms of the amount of minutes he gets and the production, he's the worst. You can't
He's second worst. Ben Simmons is the worst.
Okay, yeah, whatever. There's no way in hell that Ben Simmons
averages 1 turnover for every bucket he has.
Yeah, but that's not how people. That is more to do with assists and turnovers because it's to do with usually passing.
But still, I'm just 1 bucket for every turnover. That is horrendous.
He is all-time low in confidence. But let's say if Ben Simmons had Russell Westbrook's confidence, it wouldn't even be a discussion.
It wouldn't, but he doesn't.
If Russell Westbrook had Ben Simmons' confidence, it'd still be shit. So it's
What? But that's just such a non-factor because Ben Simmons is who he is.
But again, he has shown an ability not to be who he is right now. It could just be
but his mind is gone. It's unrecoverably.
Well, yeah, I do
fucked.
think his
brain is completely.
I don't
gone.
think it's done forever.
He's got
but I
early
think it is.
onset CTE from just
CTE.
mind fucking.
Well, okay. Well, at the end of the day, they're both terrible. But if you're telling me who I'd rather have, it'd be Ben Simmons every single day of the week. Russell Westbrook.
I'd rather have Westbrook.
All right, mate. You're good. You've got him. So
you know
good
what happened
on you.
today? Ben Simmons didn't play, and the Nets won.
Okay. Well, when Russell Westbrook doesn't get on the court, the Lakers do better. So
Except last game.
except last game, the
Against
only
the
game
Nuggets.
you've won this season.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah.
Cool. You're the worst team in the NBA, and you've got Russell Westbrook on your team. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
Nets won. Ben Simmons wasn't on the floor.
Well,
Whenever
the
he's
Nets
on the
have won
floor-
games this year.
1 game.
Yep. But they've
The same as Westbrook.
Yeah, but have they won one game?
They've won 2 now.
Okay, yeah, they
Before
won
today,
two.
they'd
See,
won
there you
one.
go.
Yeah, without Ben Simmons.
Okay, still, Russell Westbrook sucks, and he is a main factor in the fact that the Lakers are terrible right now.
He is.
So, look, you can stick to your views, I'll stick to mine. That's it.
Leave it in the comments.
Leave it in the
Who
comments.
wins?
I think most people can agree that Russell Westbrook is the worst player in terms of minutes and production in the league right now.
Yep, after Ben Simmons. So,
Okay.
all right, we'll finish off.
Get your hand off. It's shaking the camera, you melon. Get your hand off the table.
It's not shaking now.
Okay,
placing my hand
look,
on the table.
take your hand off. Put it back on. Oh, now you do it gently. Like,
Oh my god, I'm such a shaker.
you're like, now, but when you do it anyway, just go.
Mate, I know what I'm doing.
I don't think you.
Professional.
Okay, you're a professional. Yeah, you think Ben Simmons is is
I'm
the
an
worst player than
analyst.
Russell
Give me
Westbrook.
the analyst job. I'm better than Malika, I'll tell you that much. Top 3 athletes. We'll do a little Halloween themed top 3 list today. Top 3 athletes that you wouldn't want to answer the
Oh,
door
this is an interesting one.
for your kids trick or treating.
It's a very interesting one. Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
So yeah, I've done. Mine's a bit of a weird list. I've tried to be inventive here. So my number 3 is Oscar Pistorius.
I mean, he's.
Because notoriously
I don't know who trick or treats in jail cells, but
Well, yeah, I mean, if he was out, let's say, and let's say he was maybe it's the situation's flipped and he's walking through the door, and he might sort of.
but how could he walk?
Well, he has
Without a leg.
robotic legs. But yeah, he may have a sort of history of killing people when walking through doors. That's just the history of it, and yeah, I wouldn't want to see him. He looks like a very agitated. He's like, oh God, well, I didn't know you were here. I'm gonna shoot you. So, did he shoot or
Trick or treat. Trick.
Yeah, my second one, another one, but it's the other way as well. It's I wouldn't want them coming. If I was coming to my front door during trick or treating, and that's O.J. Simpson. If you don't know about O.J. Simpson, apparently he's innocent in that situation. That's up for debate, but may or may not have walked through a door and committed crimes, allegedly. So yeah, it's a very sort of sticky situation with that one in reference to the blood that was on the glove that he used. But that's by the by. I think O.J. Simpson is probably one person I wouldn't want to see rock up at my house late at night, especially on Halloween. Number one, any CrossFit athlete ever.
CrossFit athlete.
Because if I go up to their house, they're just going to be like, either they're not going to give me anything, one, or they'll put out like a cucumber. And it's like, could you fuck off? Could you be any more irritating? They'll be doing some stupid superset where they're jumping from Timbuktu to whatever the fuck they're doing. I don't know what stupid names they call them. But yeah, CrossFit, they just seem way too healthy. They just be like, well, lollies can kill you. Chocolate can kill you. Did you watch this documentary about this such and such? And I'm like, all right, cool story, buddy. And so yeah, CrossFit are just the most annoying people up there with cyclists.
Right. But I do CrossFit.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think you do, buddy. But anyway, yeah, CrossFit, it just wouldn't be. I just don't associate CrossFit with happy people, with celebratory people. Like, it's the same thing at Christmas. They'd get you like a box jump for Christmas, and you're like, thanks. So yeah, just CrossFit athletes for me, number one. And over 2 murderers I have CrossFit athletes,
they're number
by the
one.
way.
Okay.
So yeah, what's your list?
My list. So at number 3, I've got Nate Diaz. Now,
what are you talking
I'll
about?
explain my reasoning. The reasoning is, my kids, I don't want them to be exposed to illegal substances at a very young age. Now, if
He
Nate
smokes
Diaz,
weed. He doesn't do
do you
crack.
want a 6-year-old kid smoking weed?
No, but it's not like he's shooting up friggin'...
Well, I mean, if you knock on Nate Diaz's door, he's for sure gonna have a joint in his mouth, and he's gonna offer it to your children. That's just what he does.
He's a dope guy. What are you talking about, Nate Diaz? Dude?
Mate,
he's a G.
For your kids, he's someone you wouldn't want him to go with. As an adult, sure, awesome experience, but for your kids, no. Also, he might be scared by the costumes because he's all really high, and he gives them a Stockton slap for stepping towards him.
But I've picked like murderers. Like, you've picked like a guy that might slap your kid.
Picked murderers, yeah.
Okay.
I'm making it realistic. Nate Diaz is actually in a house.
OJ Simpson could walk up to somebody's house.
Well, Oscar Piastri, Pistorius, whatever his name is, he can't. Second.
Oscar Piastri.
Second, Anthony Davis. Now, the reason we've got Anthony Davis is he's going to get injured bending down to give the kids the lollies.
Oh, that's true.
And that would damage the Lakers' season.
So that's more of a sporting reason. It's not more
so that's for the benefit of the Lakers. We can't have Anthony Davis giving out chocolate to kids because he's going to sideline himself. We see him every game. He's got the bad back. Yeah, I mean, after every dunk, he's just holding that thing.
And he'd have to go... Oh, no, but he'd probably have someone to go out to the store, so he wouldn't have to worry about reaching things, maybe slipping and then breaking his back or something like that.
No, yeah, well, someone would buy the chocolates for him, but he'd have to deliver them to the kids, you'd think.
Oh, yeah. And especially if they're a lot lower down, he's got to bend over.
He has to bend a lot. And he's a tall dude, so...
Yeah, that is an interesting one.
I mean, that one is a no-no for me. I would leave Anthony Davis.
But then again, he'd get injured anyway, so it's like, it's sort of it just happens now. So
yeah, but at least get injured on the court. Save it for the court.
Okay.
And lastly, a bit of a weird one, but I went with Steve Smith. And
which one?
The cricketer.
Oh, the cricketer.
And the reason for that is he's going to teach my children how to cheat in life, and I don't want to put those values into my children.
So essentially, you're just like the strictest parent ever, and you don't want to expose them to anything in the real world.
You want your kids to cheat?
Well, Steve Smith's a good bloke,
but he's a cheater.
It depends. If he's giving out gumballs, he might be tampering with them. He might be scratching off a bit of the good gumballs and just give you the shit bit at the end.
Exclusively gives out sandpaper.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Instead of actually no, when you say trick, he shows you his sandpaper skills. He starts sandpapering random shit.
Yeah. This is my trick in cheating, by the way. Just get a bit of.
Let me tell you about the one time I fucked over the South Africans.
One time he was caught. But yeah, Steve Smith. So it's an interesting one. Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. I thought you might have gone.
My list is inventive reasons.
Mine's just...
You're just going for...
Well, I did murderers. CrossFit, which is worse than murderers. But yeah, I think that... I was surprised you didn't pick John Jones, to be honest. I thought you might
I
go.
pick him for a lot of stuff though. So
Yeah, I feel like everything bad is something to do with John Jones. I mean, he's done that many illegal things.
Yeah.
He's the biggest drug addict.
I'm pretty
John
sure
Jones.
like he just answers the door with a loaded shotgun. So
Yeah.
and like 3 murderous guard dogs.
Yeah, he might do something a bit dodgy, Johnny Jones, but he's the greatest fighter of all time, so you got to give that to him. So yeah, it was a bit of an interesting topic, but yeah, very, very sort of different views we took to it. You took it more on a selfish reason in terms of Anthony Davis. I took it more on who would I want to not see me in any situation ever,
Yeah.
including coming through doors and houses. So yeah.
We're not going to be entering the houses, but
Well, yeah, I
You
don't.
know.
I just don't want Oscar. Go Piastri.
yeah, Piastri.
Piastri.
Wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. Little slime
snake, little rats.
ball. Did you see James Graham on the commentary? Like one of the English Samoan players was like making a break, and a forward was on the inside supporting to get a try.
Yeah.
And a back line guy ran through and snaked the ball and scored instead of him. And he was like, James Graham was he got caught up in the commentary because he was like, you. And he was like going to say something, and then he come up with, what did he come up with?
You
Swine. He said, you swine. Was snaking the forward's try.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Jimmy Graham is a bit of an interesting character. He has a podcast out. It's very interesting. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah, is there anything more you'd like to discuss?
I think that's it for this week.
You think that's it?
Yeah, unless you got anything else you want to add.
Yeah, nothing more. I mean, obviously the UFC. I don't know if we discussed.
Oh yeah, we forgot to do that.
Discussed about that. Yeah. Very sort of. I don't want to say shocking, but the Dagestani rats, as Connor would say, have taken over the UFC.
Just the inbreds. They're just.
Yeah, it's like
the inbred weight cutting dick sniffers. I mean,
well, it's setting up a very sort of interesting sort of mega fights that they're going to come across us. There was a Leon Edwards rumored fight in England. With who's that with?
Usman.
They
want to do Hamzat Colby as the co-main.
Hamzat Colby, that would be absolutely massive, especially in England. You could do Wembley maybe with that.
Yeah, but the issue with that is you don't really want to book an open stadium in England
unless
in case it rains.
Yeah. No, make it even better. A bit more slippery in there, you know?
No, sure.
Maybe get those rats off, stop wrestling each other, stop fucking hugging each other and lying on each other.
It'll probably be easier to wrestle. You probably have to
wrestle.
No, it'd
be more slippery. You'd fall off.
You just fall over on your own accord.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I'm just hoping that these Dagestani kids they're so boring to watch. And I know that's such a casual take as well. I don't know I'm going to get flamed for that, but
they are more boring. Like Islam is more of a boring fighter than Charles for sure.
I mean, Comshot's very interesting. The way he sort of wrestles people about.
Yeah, he's slightly different.
Yeah, he's more of a he likes to do those big takedowns.
Yeah,
you know, it's just that Dagestani fighting style just isn't very interesting. But look, they're very effective with it, and I'm hoping that Conor McGregor can come back and humble them all, which is not going to happen because he needs to take a drug test, which will take 6 months, and he has not done that yet because he's clearly a bit roided up. I think it's fair to say. Yeah, it's a bit of a fair assumption looking at his physique at the moment. But
yeah, his Twitter game is unmatched, though. He just
he says he's coming back every 2 weeks.
After every fight, after this fight, he was like, "I've got the game to dismantle these Dagestanis. I've perfected it now." I'm like, "Oh, that's great news, mate.
We can all
thank
tell.
the Lords. Let's get that booked up. Let's get that set up so we can see this perfected style."
Oh wait, it's going to be an extra year.
He's like, my bottom game is impenetrable. My elbows are sharp.
My
legs are solid.
Buddy, we all know that you haven't been in a gym in like 3 months. You've probably just been on a cruise boat doing coke.
Yeah.
But look, I love your confidence, but
I love you, Connie. But yeah, and then he had a little shot at Volk, and Volk was like, a wise man once said, like saying Conor used to be wise, but now he's just an idiot. And then they kind of had some weird respect for each other after that. So if Volk wins, I think he'd want to fight Conor, honestly, and Conor would probably want to fight him.
Anyone with a brain would want to fight Conor because at this point, he's just
but it's not purist, is it? It's not you're kind of degrading yourself if you take a Conor fight as a champion.
Yeah, but it's not like these guys are on multi-million-dollar contracts.
I mean, they're making a lot if you're a champion.
Is Volk making that much money? He's making
good money.
He's making really good money, but I think Conor money's different. And I think
Conor money's different, but
so Conor money,
especially if you're a champion because you get pay-per-view points. So.
Well, yeah, Conor money you save for life. So it's a bit of an interesting one, but I do think anyone in the UFC would take a Conor fight. So
yeah, I mean, also on that card, Aljamain beat TJ. Turns out TJ Dillashaw dislocated his shoulder 20 times in training camp, and basically in the first moment of the fight,
this guy
dislocated his shoulder, and that was it. So,
well, that's a surprise, isn't it? Yeah, you just dislocate your shoulder just every week, and then all of a sudden you just dislocate it in a fight.
Yeah, so
what a surprise that is.
He may as well have not walked in there. But I guess he knew this was his last chance, so he just hoped that he could knock him out, basically.
What a Sugar Sean controversially winning over Peter Yan. I don't think it was that controversial.
Really?
Yeah, because Peter Yan, he just the classic I lay on top of. I dominated the ring.
I think Yan definitely won the fight.
I think most people say that they give it to Yan. However, Sugar Sean was a lot more.
I was definitely competitive.
But he did the classic. He dominated the ring, but did he land anything significant?
He landed good shots. He hurt him.
But in comparison to Sugar, I don't think so. I think Sean O'Malley definitely was a lot more effective, especially on the stand-up game. So, look, I don't hate the fact that he won, and I just think the judges then.
But the thing for Peter Yan is he's been like two arguable fights that he won. The last fight against Sterling, very arguable that he won that. So I just think, and then this fight, so that's two in a row.
Well, I just think people don't. I think in general, these judges are human. They want to see striking. They want to see.
Yeah, well, against Sterling, he was the one striking.
So, but in terms of this fight,
yeah, but you can't be fucking. Oh, I'm human. I like striking.
No, but I just think think judges. Look, 8 out of 10 times he probably wins, in that decision. But some judges prefer people that strike over people that just try and dominate the ring without fighting, really. And look, I think Peter Yan's a really good fighter, but I think Sugar landed a lot more effective strikes, and that's why he won the fight.
Well, yeah, I mean, going into that, Dana said winner gets a title shot, but after that, he sort of backed off a bit. And I think it's because it was so controversial, so he doesn't... It's not like you go, oh, Sean O'Malley, yeah, 100%, he deserves a title shot after that. You go, okay, he belongs at the top of the division because we'd never seen him against a top guy before. So you go, yeah, he belongs at the top of the division, but I don't know if he gets the title shot. So it came out that they wanted to do Cejudo versus Sterling in Australia as well as the co-main of Volkanovski Islam, which would be a huge fight. But Sterling has basically bitched it and said, no, I don't want to fight. So
who, Sterling?
Yeah. Sterling is quickly becoming my least favorite fighter.
Why doesn't he want to fight?
Because he's just like, I just want more time off. I want a holiday.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he became the most probably disliked fighter when he did. It was an illegal shot, but he did do a bit of a.
He was screaming like a little baby.
He faked it a bit. He did fake it a bit just to get the win. Which respect to him. I mean, he got the win, but I think he's probably disliked from that moment on. And yeah, I just don't think people. I think people, especially Dana. I don't want to say people. Dana wants the most entertaining guys at the top.
They want him to lose so bad. Yeah. I mean, he's just so unlikable and so cringe. And he just...
But so is Cejudo, to be fair.
Yeah, but Cejudo's funny because it's a character. Sterling isn't a character.
Yeah, but it's so funny. It's a cringe character, though. It's like... Yeah.
Well, that's the point of it.
No, but he thinks they're laughing with him, but everyone's laughing at him. That's the...
Yeah.
He's just... He thinks he's being like Conor McGregor, but everyone's just laughing at how cringe he is. But yeah, Cejudo, I mean, look, he did overcome Mighty Mouse, and did he win 2 belts?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
he retired as the bantamweight champ. So.
Yeah, he's just. I think the thing with Cejudo as well, I do like Cejudo. I just think he thinks he's bigger than he is, not in terms of size because he's tiny, but in terms of stature And
Yeah,
I think
well,
the way
that's why that's his retirement was a marketing move. He thought, if I retire, they're going to give me more money to come back.
Yeah, and then they're like,
They're like, no,
bye.
see you later.
Bye.
So now he's like, fuck, I'm going to have to come back anyway because I got no money. And I mean, I think they're happy to give him a title shot at bantamweight. He wants it at featherweight, not at featherweight. They'll give it to him at bantamweight. But Sterling is just milking fucking being the champion for all he's worth. He's like, I only want to fight once a year. And it's like, bro, you know you're going to lose soon. You're trying to drag this out as long as possible.
He's doing an Aldo.
And yeah, I mean, then Sean O'Malley was like, all right, give me the interim fight against Cejudo in Australia. Or maybe Cejudo said that. I can't remember. One of the two said that.
Cejudo did. I think Sean was doing like a press conference or something, and Cejudo was like behind him, like saying that he wanted to fight her. It was cringe.
Yeah.
It was another cringe fest, but I think that's fair. I think if you want to Sugar Sean to sort of prove that he is championship fight worthy, then you give him a shot against Cejudo for an interim belt or even just a normal fight, and then the winner of that fights Aljamain, and hopefully Sugar.
I think they just strip Aljamain. I can't be arsed with it.
But they can't though.
Yeah.
I think
if he's openly making videos like, yeah, I just don't want to fight right now. I just don't want to fight.
I think he's one of those guys that if Dana says, mate, we're going to strip you right now if you don't fight, he'll be like, okay, fine. Like, I think he's just pushing it right to the limit.
Yeah, but like,
he
would do that, yeah.
I don't think he'd just...
But it's stupid still.
Yeah. Well, I think Dana is probably trying not to do a Darren Till to Sugar Sean. He doesn't want to rush him into it too quickly and lose a potential superstar of the UFC. And I think he realizes in that, especially in that bantamweight division, when it's really hard to get.
They were doing that though. Like he was fighting bums for like 3 years straight.
Yeah, but I think Dana realizes the fact that the bantamweight division is not the most interesting division in the world.
It's like the best division in the UFC.
I mean, in terms of if you're a hardcore UFC fan, in terms of quality, yes, but in terms of sort of over the history of the division, the fighters aren't that well paid. It doesn't get that many pay-per-view numbers, and I think he realizes the potential that Sugar Sean has to bring major numbers to that division.
If O'Malley wins the belt, he's out of there like Conor. He's going straight up to featherweight. I mean, he's fucking huge.
Well, he should be a featherweight. He is a featherweight fighter, but he could even be lightweight, but he'd have to put on a bit more muscle for that. But yeah, I hope Sugar Sean sort of gets a title eventually, and it would be interesting to see if he could do a featherweight and a bantamweight at the same time, because he's naturally skinny.
Well, that's what Volk's trying to do. If he wins lightweight, he wants to defend both.
I don't think Volk's winning lightweight. He's just too small.
He is small, but he's fucking so good. Like, he obliterated Max Holloway.
Yeah, well, but the fight before he was a dodgy decision towards him.
Yeah, but he's improved so much since.
Yeah,
then.
look, I rate Volk, but I think he's a featherweight fighter. I don't think he can move up, especially against Islam. I mean, the way he just dismantled Charles Oliveira. He's on the longest fight.
But Oliveira's like Volkanovski's defense is a lot better than Oliveira. But in terms of striking defense,
I mean, if Islam can do that to Charles Oliveira, who's a lot bigger and a lot stronger than.
Yeah, but he's worse technically.
But I don't think it's even technical about these Dagestanis. I think it's more about how their weight. Dustin Poirier talked about how their ability to put their weight in different places just to suffocate you, essentially.
Yeah, but it can almost be harder to hold down like a little nuggety guy that scrambles well.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I just don't see anyone beating Islam. If he can just dismantle Charles Oliveira, then I just don't.
I'm backing Volk till the.
Well, we got it as Australians. He's a former footy player. He was a big boy then.
Oh yeah, that's what I was like. Connor's other tweet was he told Volk how to beat Islam. He gave him the strategy. He's like, I'd recommend the pinball approach. Bulk up to your footy days. 210 pounds. I think the pinball approach is best for you. Or the bowling ball. I can't remember what he called it, but he just kept saying, pinball approach is for you. That's how you win.
Yeah,
funny.
Connor, he's just a meme at this point. I mean, the only fights... I mean, if he was to come back, who would he fight? Tony?
No, fuck no.
I mean, what would the UFC give him? I mean...
there was talks of Gaethje.
I think Gaethje would win. I mean, I think... Would they bring back Nate Diaz on a one-fight contract? Maybe.
I don't think Nate wants to do that yet.
Well, no. I mean, Conor's not going to be fighting for another 2 years, so it's fine. But yeah, apparently Nate's going to be fighting Jake Paul.
Potentially.
After Jake Paul beat Anderson Silva.
Oh, yeah, that also happened.
I mean...
Very, very sad to see.
It's just, no one why do you keep on fighting these old retired UFC fighters? And you just call it, Dana, you see the champion I just beat? And it's like, mate, we gave him a retirement ceremony like 20 years ago. Like, what are you talking about, bruv?
But Dana did say, like, if he fights Anderson, that's a real fight. So, But
I think Anderson is also his golden boy, so he's not going to go against.
No, he doesn't even really like Anderson anymore.
Well, I don't think... I mean, maybe... what was that fight that he did? That was like the most boring fight in the history of the the history of like title shots or whatever, or title fights, sorry. And Dana got super mad at him at the press conference for just pissing about for 5 rounds. I can't remember exactly.
Maybe Damian Maia.
Yeah, maybe. It might have been Damian Maia.
I don't think he got it.
I can't exactly remember, but yeah.
I think he fought Damian Maia.
It was a very sort of... He
definitely got mad at Woodley for having boring fights.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, we'll see. If Jake Paul and Nate Diaz are going to happen, it'd be an interesting one. I just think it'd be another piss show. I mean, I don't think Nate cares at this point. He's just he'll slap him about 100 times. I mean, he'll just. I
don't even know if Nate can beat him.
No, I don't think he can. Like I think he can. But I think that the fact he's a tradition, he is a boxer, but
it's just giving MMA such a bad rap when this guy's just beating everyone.
No, but these guys were out of the UFC. It's not like they were in the UFC when they fought them. Like, I think even if he fought, like, I don't know, if he fought like Chandler or something, he'd get smoked.
I think he'd beat Chandler.
Really?
Chandler's a midget.
Yeah, but he's strong and he's got a good punch on him.
Yeah, but he's a midget.
Yeah, but he's still active. That's the thing. Woodley wasn't active when he fought him.
Well, he was active. He was just getting pumped every fight.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Look, Jake Paul. I think the only thing I want to see with Jake Paul is the KSI fight.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea for KSI.
Well, yeah, but it's the only one that's interesting. I mean, who cares if Jake Paul beats up on these old UFC fighters? But yeah, anyway, moving on. Is that the end of the podcast for us?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Well,
this time.
I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Go follow us on all social media platforms. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, you name it. If you've got any questions, leave them down below. I hope you like, comment, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day. Do you have anything to send our viewers off?
Thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a good one.
Wow, you sound so
subscribe
energetic.
And that, Make sure you subscribe. Hit that button. See, it's cringe if you make it exciting.
Okay.
Isn't it?
But if you're doing it ironically, though, so it's not cringe. Like, if you were, like, an old school YouTuber back in the day and you were just like, hey, guys, you got to hit that subscribe button.
What's up, Low Gang? Back with another video. Today, we're going to drive my car through a wall.
Who is that? Like, they had, like, that little person. He just took the piss out of him.
His friend.
And then he just ditched him as soon as he did a podcast. But anyway, that's a story for another time. And, hope you like the podcast. And peace up, A-Town.
Peace.